Hi, Caleb here, and today we're going to take you on a virtual hike around Lake Sandborn in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Hope you guys enjoy. So we set off from our car, tell it stay cool, and we start to the beginning of the trail. Now, this trail is a little bit different than the other two we've done on this channel so far because it's a loop. So technically, this could also be the end. I prefer going this way just because it's the way I went for the very first time, and I just, got in a habit of it. So people walk this trail, bike, some people walk their dogs, It's not super hard at all. There is one part that is a little bit steep, but other than that, it's nothing too bad. And you can already notice the birds in the background. Now, right up here, there used to be a bridge right there, but it got washed out and just not kept up, and so they decided to take it out rather than, have a safety hazard there. And up into this little kind of a clearing. Now, this is one of my go-to trails if I'm just trying, to get out of the house. It's close enough to my house that it's no big deal to, go and just walk it. And it only takes about 30 minutes, give or take. I'm much more of a stop and look at everything kind of person, so it takes me a little bit longer. And you'll actually get to see a bunch more signs of animals on this trail, I guess would be the correct way to say it. A little flower right there. Now, so Stillwater is known for having Oklahoma State. And yeah, this lake is right next to the airport, and so I think a little bit later in the video there's a plane that starts to land, so you kind of hear it, but for the most part it's a pretty quiet place. And that right there is what an armadillo leaves behind whenever it's, digging for food. They're holes about fist big and about personally up to my wrist deep. But yeah, that's a little game trail. We're gonna skip that one and go over here. Now you could take either one, and it's gonna get you to the same place. Now, I've only biked this once, and I'm personally out of shape to do biking, so I was worn out by the time I got done. But it was pretty fun. The only problem I was having was you come around these corners and you don't know if someone's walking. So just keep your ears open for bikes coming up behind you. Most people who ride bikes will, say on your left, on your right, so you know not to walk into them. Now, if we were to come on this game trail, or on that game trail back there, we would have came right back out here. So that's what I meant by it kind of comes back to the same place. Now, I'm going to take you guys off the main trail to show you my favorite place around here. And I completely found this spot by accident. But first, I'm going to show you what a honeysuckle is. Now, they're flowers that grow on bushes. They can either be white or yellow. And if you pull that little green spot at the end, you can see that it pulls out like the little inside. I accidentally dropped it. But there's a little like sweet sap on the end that if you touch it to your tongue, it tastes like honey. They're white and yellow flowers. So definitely something you should try if you see them. They are in like bushy vines kind of things. Now, this is a little like clearing that I have done a photo shoot in the past at. The Harry Potter shoot. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. If you are a fan of Harry Potter, I think it turned out really well. The model Des did a great job. So he used in between those trees for, contrast. And then there's a little campfire up here that we had set up a cauldron with some dry ice to, do like mixing spells and stuff. And here, let me show you a picture from the shoot. See, so that's in between the trees and she's holding the wand up. And so yeah, just something interesting I thought I would show you. And back up onto the main trail. Now, if we wouldn't have gone off the path, we would have came basically right through there and yeah, got back right up here. Now, there are technically 3 lakes / ponds. I don't really know the difference. I mean, obviously size, but Sandborn Lake seems like it's a big pond and not a small lake. Basically, so there's 3 bodies of water right in a row. They're all really good fishing. You can mostly catch bass, crappie, perch, and sometimes catfish. That's another little path that you can just walk down to the water. And then if you walk into this field on the left, it'll take you to a little creek that leads to the other little pond. Some little yellow flowers. And then here is Sandborn Lake. Now, it looks kind of mossy on this side, but you don't really fish on this side, if that makes sense. Yeah. And back onto the path. So I hope you guys are enjoying these hikes. I'm having fun, editing and recording them. And I just hope you guys are watching. And if you guys have any recommendations around the Oklahoma area, I would love to do it. I just thought the water on those leaves were cool. Or Texas or Kansas. In that area, that's as far as I'm wanting to travel right now. But I'm hoping to branch out and do some hikes in Colorado and stuff like that. Now, this path is super spooky at nighttime. I have hiked it probably 3 or 4 times at night. And yeah, it gets kind of spooky around this part. Now, if we look out over the little lake, right over there is where we parked our car. And if you can hear that bird call, it is either crows or blackbirds. I couldn't tell from this angle. But there was probably 7 to 10 up above in the trees, just making a bunch of noise. Yeah, so I think that's something interesting. Now, Sandborn back in the early 2000s, late 90s, was technically not known as the best place you would want to be. It was known for a lot of sex work. But the city has kind of like re-energized it, and it's turned into more of a family place where you can, take your kids to go fishing or, walk your dog. And they've really cleaned up the whole path and everything. And I kept hearing frogs jumping in the water, and I was going to try to catch it on camera, but I just could never catch it on camera. And if you're really quiet, you can hear the people talking across the lake. And that is a collapsed animal den. I couldn't tell what kind of animal it was. Possibly a badger, or maybe, I don't know, a raccoon maybe. The video cut right there because I had walked down to a little creek, but it took a lot longer than I was hoping. That's where a tree used to be, and it made the video a lot longer, and so I decided to cut it down. And I don't know if you just heard that, but that is the tree moving in the wind. Now, if you decide to go hiking in the woods, like not on a path, you definitely should watch out for vines like that. They're normally green, and they will wrap around your legs and get stuck all in you. They're not hard to spot if you know what you're looking for, but if you don't know what you're looking for, it may be, a little painful to the shin. And that is a duck that I could not figure out what kind of duck it was, but it had a very fat bill, almost like a shoe bill, like bird, which is, it's not that because those are almost extinct, but very similar, and I couldn't figure out anywhere online what it is. So if you know what it is, let me know. It was gray and bluish. And jump cut to what looks like turtle eggs. You can see up in the top left hand corner like where the eggs were buried, and then there are oval shaped eggs that are basically cut down the middle. And hear that breeze coming through the trees. And I decided to cut this video up a little bit more than the last two, just because there was a bunch of interesting things, and then quite a bit of just, this, which this isn't bad, but it's not, ideal if that's what you know what I mean. And if you can hear the plane going up, about to land or take off, I can't tell. And I decided to cut the video right up here because the bridge had washed out, and last time I walked through here I saw a pretty big king snake. So crossed over the broken bridge and back up onto the trail. Now we are in the last quarter of the trail, and I just love paths like this where the trees are basically engulfing the path, where it's like a tunnel almost of trees. Now, obviously you would want to look out for poison ivy, but the city keeps up pretty well with cutting like plants back from the path. And just a little bit farther down to the left you can see the other lake or pond. Yeah, right there. And then to the right is the Lake Sandborn. And there's this really cool bridge. I did a shot of it for on the Harry Potter shoot. With just a little stream. There's a tiny little waterfall going from the little pond to Sandborn. And right here you can go either way. They go to the same place. And yeah, so we are coming to the end of the path. And yeah, so that was Lake Sandborn. Um, Definitely one that I do quite regularly. And if you're in the area, something you might want to check out. But it's not something like the last two, Turner Falls and Little Niagara, that I would drive super far for. Um, Say you're in town for the weekend for a football game, and you just want to get out walking, definitely something you should check out. There's another armadillo hole. Um, I've decided I'm gonna start rating these, and so I would rate this probably 6.5 out of 10. Definitely not a hard hike, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Like there's not a bunch of dividing paths that get you lost. So yeah, but it has a lot of nature and it's very calm. So that's why I'd give it a 6.5. Yeah, and we are coming out to the parking lot. Kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel situation. And there's our car. And that was the trail around Lake Sandborn in Stillwater, Oklahoma. If you enjoyed, leave a like and comment, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.